to Philly Sports Unfiltered. Guys, in today's video, we are talking about the James Harden contract situation, and there's a little bit of an interesting story surrounding this. There's a little bit of a buzz that perhaps the NBA is going to end up investigating the Philadelphia 76ers because of this contract, because there are some strange things that have essentially led to Harden taking this $15 million pay cut. So I want to jump right into this and then see what you guys think of this story. So the story is out that an ex-NBA GM thinks that the NBA will investigate the Sixers over the Harden deal. And this actually came out on the Zach Lowe podcast, and they were just kind of discussing the situation surrounding what led Harden to take this $15 million pay cut. And it is actually quite interesting. If you guys have been following the timeline about the whole James Harden contract situation, you notice something that was a little bit interesting. Sixers minority owner Michael Rubin, who's also the owner of Fanatics, okay, the sports company. He's a minority owner of the Sixers, and right before this deal went down, he decided to step down as one of the minority owners of the 76ers. Now, after he stepped down from his ownership role, Michael Rubin has a very good relationship with Daryl Morey, has a great relationship with James Harden that has spanned many years. It was reported that even though he stepped down from the team, Michael Rubin was still a part of the James Harden contract negotiations, which is not standard practice in the NBA. This is something that should not have happened. And people are kind of wondering, like, what was the motivation for Michael Rubin to step down right in that moment, to no longer affiliate himself as an owner of the team, which essentially kind of unties his hands in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things that he could then do that could be against NBA bylaws, but if he's no longer in the league, he wouldn't be held to those standards. So it did raise a couple eyebrows. So anyway, Jack Lowe was talking to this with Bobby Marks, former Nets GM, about the situation. And Zach Lowe just basically said, look, I would expect the league office to say, hold on, let's take a look at what happened. And then he asked Bobby Marks, what do you expect will happen? And so Bobby Marks, he starts talking about, just the deep relationship that James Harden has with Michael Rubin and the relationship that they have with Daryl Morey. And Bobby Marks goes on to say, basically Harden taking this $15 million pay cut, it's really unprecedented. You don't see a lot of athletes doing this. Even Russell Westbrook, all these guys, they're all taking the money. They're all taking the absolute maximum. So is James Harden really being a good Samaritan, taking that $15 million pay cut? Or did Michael Rubin step down, okay, as minority owner of Sixers and promise James Harden some monetary value, let's say with some stock in his company Fanatics? Maybe he offered to just hyper promote his jerseys and cut him in on the deal. There's rumors that Fanatics, that actually Michael Rubin has stepped down from the Sixers because he wants to transition Fanatics into doing sports betting as well. Could this be involved somehow? We don't know. But basically, Bobby Marks was relating this to a situation when they signed Andrei Kirilenko. He was valued at having around a $10 million contract. They only paid him $4, and they assumed that they were paying him some money off books because they had a Russian owner at that time. And so the Nets were actually investigated from that situation. So Bobby Marks is saying, look, this is kind of a similar situation to James Harden. You have this athlete that's sort of inexplicably just deciding to take a $15 million pay cut, along with this owner that he's buddy with that suddenly steps down. So what exactly is going to be going on? Is James Harden really just a good Samaritan, or is there something that is bigger afoot? Now, me personally, I wouldn't be surprised if James has been promised, something, maybe some type of opportunity, something that could parlay into the future into monetary value, because we do know that James likes his money. But I also think that it's something that's probably very difficult to prove. I think it's something that's a lot more common than we believe. If you look at Tom Brady and the Patriots, taking all those pay cuts, for years to win championships. But that sort of coincided with him doing TB12, bringing TB12 to his team, using his platform to be able to promote TB12, and that made him more money than he ever could have made in the NFL. So who knows? We will see. Maybe it is something similar for James. Maybe by James taking this pay cut, it's going to give him some other type of opportunity outside of basketball where he feels he's going to make up that money. Is it strictly legal? Probably not. Is it happening a lot in the NBA and just sports in general? I think it's happening all the time. So as a fan, I say, hey, do what you got to do to put us in the best position to win. In terms of the investigation, I don't think much will come from it. Even if they investigate, they dock us draft picks. Where we're at with our team, it doesn't really matter. We don't have any draft picks as it is. Even if we have draft picks, what are we going to do? Draft Jaden Springer? I mean, come on. This isn't really something that's going to help us win a championship. So for me, I'm not really concerned about the story. Now, I want to jump into a little Joel Embiid. We know that Embiid was going full throttle for the MVP last year. Maybe it caused him to overextend himself a little bit. I think he was pissed when he ended up not getting the MVP. But how is Joel going to approach this coming season? Well, Drew Hanlon, his trainer, just kind of chimed in and recently, and he said that Joel Embiid is going to have sort of a renewed focus for this season, and he's going to kind of shift his focus away from winning the MVP and be focused solely on winning a title. So Drew Hanlon said, now I think he's just completely turned his focus off of the MVP, saying, hey, at some point in my career, if I just continue to improve my game and keep playing dominant basketball, it'll happen, but all my energy and focus is just going to win a championship. And we have to ask ourselves as fans, is this a good thing? And I do believe that this is a very good thing, because I think when you have athletes that are focused on winning an MVP and at the same time chasing a championship, chasing that MVP can cause them to sort of overextend their bodies, overextend their energies, not really take care of themselves in a way that is conducive to body longevity for the playoffs, and it can also cause them to play a little bit selfishly, which isn't really conducive to team basketball. So if Joel is just saying, you know what, bump the whole MVP stuff, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to be a great player, I'm going to be a good teammate, I'm going to make sure the ball is moving, I'm going to make sure everybody's involved. If I need to take a night off, I'm going to take a night off. I think that's going to be great for the Philadelphia 76ers to be much more balanced, because I don't believe that Joel Embiid can be the number one scorer on this team and us to win a championship. I think it's going to have to be Maxey. I think it has to be Harden. I think it has to be a guard. Embiid is just too big to be the number one scorer. Now, how about his injuries? It seems that everything has gotten much better. Obviously, Embiid was dealing with a ligament tear, which he had surgically repaired. Everything is better. He's already back to working out. Drew Hanlon said he's back. He's been working out since a few weeks. He's in a full sweat. And Embiid is getting ready to go out to LA to work with Drew Hanlon again in this offseason. And he thinks that everything is going and progressing very well. And he actually feels that not being focused on the MVP is going to be very helpful for Joel Embiid, as it has been for a slew of other stars in the past. So I think that's all really good news overall with Embiid. Obviously, he's healthy. I kind of like where his mindset is going to be headed into the new season. So guys, I want to leave off this one. Do you think the Sixers will be investigated for Harden's contract? I think that there is definitely a chance. I think this is something that the NBA will probably look into. It's just my opinion. I think there's a very low chance anything comes from it. Even if something does come from it, I don't think that it will be a penalty that will be very impactful considering where we're at with our team right now. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. And do you think it's going to be another big year for Embiid? I really do. I think Embiid is going to come back. I think he's going to have another great year. I really like where he's at with his maturity and his focus. And I actually think we're going to have a really good season. It's all I got for today's video, guys. If you enjoy the content, please do me a favor and consider subscribing to the channel. If you like the video, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. And guys, I will catch you in the next video. Until then, go Sixers.